What will this do to you? I can tell you, I am not the same person now that I was 20 years ago. My childhood has been healed.
If we were audacious enough and courageous enough to believe that we have what we need to change this, what would we do differently? And then you set a 60, 90-day goal. Why? Because generational change still needs to start today, right? Note that we might succeed or we might fail, but it doesn't matter, because in the process of learning and doing, we will learn where our processes ourselves might be inequitable, right? We'll learn where the gifts are in the community and who has something that we didn't even know they had. And we might learn what it takes not just to have thriving people and places, but thriving systems, and that we have the power to change those systems. Ask each other what happened. Like, what was the thing that changed in your community?
Look at that. They're growing.
In a lot of our underserved communities, there's a redlining of grocery stores. There's food deserts, basically, where they don't have places where they can get food.
And that limits their ability to engage with fresh food. They're like, I can't afford that. I'm not even going to touch it. Yeah. And so we go into the grocery store with community members. We do tasting experiences, and they're responding very well. Yeah, we're liking it.
We serve over 4,700 families a month with produce and food.
Part is a local coalition that seeks to collaborate and build together and bring equality to everybody in DuPage County.
Well, one of the initiatives that we're currently working on with the Immigrant Cooperative is scaling up a multi-agency resource center for the potential arrival of a bus of migrants from the southern border.
We have a new after-school program which we call Food for Medicine. We have children who are between the age of 5 to 12, and we teach them about how to grow the plants or the vegetables, and also how to make choices.
We have an evening program that meets 4 nights a week from 5:30 to 8:30, and we surround our young boys ages 8 to 18 with male mentors. We provide them with a meal, we provide them with curriculum education, with fun, enrichment, opportunities to grow, field trips, all types of educational opportunities that we provide.
We are here to try to improve health equity in our community, especially considering we're in rural Illinois and see a lot of isolated individuals with lack of resources.
We have 3 or 4 areas that we have a much lower life expectancy than we do in other areas. So one of the things that we wanted to focus on is what's happening there compared to 2 miles the other direction where the life expectancy is 15 years more.
We have shifted our focus to address youth violence as a health equity concern.
We're taking field trips to urban farms, seeing how we can do like food RX programs. And it's been really great because we're really making sure that this is something that isn't generic, but is meant to be for our community and the people within it.
Welcome to the Martin Center. We opened 1 year ago. The inception was from 2 donors who wanted to create an innovative facility in the north part of Champaign that could serve residents that didn't previously have quick and easy access to recreation. So what started the creation of this facility was to create a partnership for the Don Moyer Boys and Girls Club. They had outgrown their space. The program is very popular, serving the youth of our community, and so they needed a space for their elementary age children. This is a space that incorporates technology and movement for play. Our next stop will be the educational kitchen, and this is also a space that we partner with the University of Illinois for healthy cooking classes. We did really focus our pricing to be a low accessible price. You can see the individual, it's $60 for the year.
Doing things in community isn't easy, right? Even simple things. Yes. We have to adjust for each other. Sometimes it'll be a little messy. But this work of being grounded together, of staying together, of figuring it out together, that is the work. And I just thank you all for being here, for being in the messy together with one another, not just here,
but back home. Because that's what our communities need from us. And together, who believes we have what we need to do it? Do you believe that?
Yep. Yes.
Do you believe that?
Yes.
Do you believe that?
Yes.
All right, come back for day 2.
20 years ago, in Canita, we were burying 30 black males a year in the region. We're seeing families feeling hopeless, right? Diabetes, high blood pressure. The local grocery store was only selling cheap liquor and out-of-date canned food. And I was talking to some good friends of mine, and he said, Joyner, you do not need an institution. You need access to fresh, affordable foods. And I said, make that clear. He said, you need a farm, you need a garden. I felt something saying, you got to return back to your roots. I grew up farming. I hated farming. You know, because it was a place where we were cheated. My father was the best farmer in the world. Anybody heard of sharecropping? Well, I haven't got my share yet. 20 years ago, we decided to do an agricultural, agribusiness summer camp, and really felt like that no one would jump on board. I tell the deacons, look, man, when nobody show up, shut the church up and go home. And I get there, and it's 100 children. And that was the beginning of the call from the ancestors. Those kids showed up every morning at 5:30 in the morning. Our youth became engaged in this process. And they began to look at how could we expand this. We did not know that our health department was looking at 30-day readmits, chronic disease use of the hospital, in the life care. Our small community were leading it all. And 1 year period of time, those numbers started being cut. And they did not know how it happened. We call it the HOPS program, Healthy Opportunity Program, producing vegetables from a 14-acre farm. We're putting black farmland back into production. Our partnership with the food banks to say, what if you just took your money to buy the vegetables from the farmers, and the farmers put them back in the community. Believe it or not, access to fresh, affordable food will change the social economics of the community. Our bottom line is not the cash. Our bottom line is human development.
Do you see how we're the lucky ones? This is not work of institutions or people in power saving. This is about unleashing and supporting the natural brilliance that's in every one of our communities, right? Thank you so much for being here.
I'm not leaving.
Good.
In 2009, I actually was charged as an armed habitual criminal, first-degree attempt murder, aggravated discharge of a firearm, and aggravated battery. I started studying and doing a lot of research, took some college classes while away. In 2019, upon my release, I sat down with a few others in the town of Alton, Illinois, and we came up with the idea of coming up with a Stop the Violence youth crime prevention organization called Enough is Enough. I encourage you to go back to your communities and bring someone who's just like me. Bring them in so they can hear what's going on behind the scenes, because it's a lot of us that just don't know. We don't know the resources. We don't even know what's our purpose. Our youth is calling for our help. It's very, very important that we take the time out to look at a person like me coming from where I come from and say, hey, they're bleeding, they're crying out for help, and it's up to us to make it happen. Thank you.
You've been telling your transformation story with a big focus on your recent story, right? Well, there's a longer story of your journey. And so we're going to teach you one tool of telling your story. What we want you to do is learn how to document your story this way, as a way of being able to reflect on those key moments that shifted you, and what of those moments both lifted you up or brought you down. And it's important to be able to reflect on both if you're going to move forward. This is less the story of everything you did and more the story of how you changed. That journey is deeply meaningful for how we think about growing and gardening these communities right together. What does it look like in these communities? What is it that's happening across initiatives?
We're in a new space now, inside of the building, even you closing your shop, partnering with us. I mean,
it's emotional.
Go back home, share these stories, and see what it means.
I'd like to see that in 7 generations, every apartment complex, all of our single family homes, there's going to be a nice little garden in that backyard, and you're going to have access to it. Your grocery stores are going to be within walking distance.
No family in this rich country would go to bed hungry. And everybody would have an opportunity to shop and receive fresh fruits and vegetables and also dairy.
It's not about just handouts. It's how show people how they can change their habits.
In 7 generations, I would like to see less individuals feeling alone in their discomfort, alone in their frustration.
Imagine it's 30 years from now, and you're writing a letter. Reverend Joyner said, I want to know not what your community will be, but where you'll be. What's a choice that you decided to make in yourself? Just imagine, dear future grandchild, one day in Champaign, Illinois, we all came together, and this is what happened.